I'm 23 years old. I first noticed my gynecomastia when I was like 12 or 13 years old. It started small and then it grew pretty quickly. After about a year, it was like uncomfortable looking. And then 16 was like when it was really bad. And then that's when I knew it wasn't going away. It was really uncomfortable for me to look in a mirror to shower, having to shower with my arms crossed so I didn't have to look down. I wouldn't even look down in the mirror. It was really hard to just look at myself in general. Doing drugs when I was 18. Just to cope with the gynecomastia. Because there was nothing I could do at that point to get rid of it. I got close to committing suicide a few times. I was like, where I started to scare everybody around me. And at that point, I still hadn't told anybody about the gynecomastia. It was just something I hid from everybody. And then I had one incident where I almost actually did commit suicide. And that was kind of like, it was the point in my life where I realized I didn't actually want to die. So I just was willing to do anything to get rid of it. Yeah, that one's hard to talk about. That one's uncomfortable. That one's it. I was driving through a canyon on the way home from work. It was like a regular day too, but I was tired of I was just tired of being sad. And I almost drove off of a cliff. And now I have a fear of driving on like curvy roads now, but yeah, I almost drove off a cliff. I figured the guardrails wouldn't stop if I went fast enough. And I did stop, but I swerved and then pulled off the side of the road. And that's when I sat there for a little bit and just kind of poured out. Didn't really have anything left after that. It was just was exhausted. And I think I just went home. I think I drank a lot that night and then just passed out. And I've had nightmares about that for a long time too. Just that moment, I have nightmares where I fall a lot off cliffs now and I wake up right before and you get that like dropping feeling. And it reminds me of it a lot. The realest moment for me, I think I've experienced so far, was realizing that I could actually do that to myself. And being that close to it was like an awakening almost, but like, it took the worst for me to like realize I wanted to actually change it. I told them, I think 1 or 2 days after the event, I almost drove off the cliff. I told my mom first. I think I told her, and then it took me like a week or two to tell my dad, I believe. Mom's easier to be vulnerable with, so tell her. Plus, it's also, I didn't want my dad's judgment and thinking less of me as a man for, having gynecomastia is not something that you can really just explain and it sound simple. So I told my mom first. We started looking immediately, I think, to kind of get it handled and take care of it. So I knew that there was a procedure that we could do. I didn't really know too much about it, so I think we started hopping on Google, trying to find all the different places. I ended up finding out that gynecomastia wasn't like a normally treated surgery, and that the more that I researched into it, I couldn't really find that many people that were doing the surgery. And then the people that did, there were people that were having malfunctions with it or problems with it. So I think we searched for a few days. Every place that I found though, they all had bad reviews or botched procedures that I just I didn't trust them. And then Dr. Cruz's was the only website that I saw that had so many before and after pictures. And they all look great. All the other ones didn't really look like they healed that well. So I just kept going back to Dr. Cruz's website, going through the before and after pictures over and over and over again. And we called and made an appointment. And that was like the first step. That was like the beginning. And then I got introduced to Dr. Cruz. And then we scheduled the surgery right there. Yeah, she went over all the details of it, kind of walked me through how the procedure was going to work, what it was going to be like, the option to either go under anesthesia to be awake, everything from the removal of the tissue to the drain tubes and the aftercare and the compression vest. Once we ran through everything, it was really easy. And my mom had to convince me that I absolutely had to do it because I was nervous, I don't want to get surgery. So I was definitely nervous. But yeah, she convinced me, and then we got it done right there and scheduled for a surgery day. Yeah, I was excited. I definitely was nervous, but Dr. Cruz was very confident in being able to fix it. He was very informed, just way smarter than I could ever imagine, understanding it. They sound scarier than they really are. And then just giving me the confidence that it's not going to be that bad, because it really wasn't bad. I was really afraid of getting the surgery. I've only had 2 other surgeries before this. Both of them, I was asleep for both of them. And I had a really bad experience with my first surgery. I woke up out of my surgery throwing up. And I had surgery, I broke my humerus, and then I also chipped 4 inches off my pelvic. So when I woke up out of the anesthesia and was throwing up, the contractions in my stomach hurt so bad that I was against taking my pain medicines. I didn't take the painkillers or anything after the surgery because they made me throw up again at home. So I had a really bad experience with surgery. So to be awake, I'm even more terrified. I don't even like the dentist, that freaks me out. So being awake and having them cut out the tissue is kind of nerve-wracking. But they said they gave you Xanax, and they did. Calm me down for sure. And then the whole crew and everybody here that preps you and does everything is very good at calming you down and making the Netflix on TV while you're sitting there is the coolest thing because it distracts you and you get to pick whatever movie you want to watch. It's almost, even we got neon lights and a TV to watch to calm you down. So it's comforting. It's not as scary as I thought it was. To have a doctor that was really knowledgeable actually made me feel confident about the procedure. I was pretty happy, ready to do it. Everything has been positive since I got the surgery. The first thing I noticed was to look down and not see 2 giant lumps of tissue. That it's almost surreal the first time you do it, because you look down and you see something you've seen for 13 years and it's just gone. And it immediately changes your perspective of yourself from just a viewing standpoint. And then the things that I've noticed the most important is my confidence. Being able to stand up straight, sounding so simple, wearing a thin t-shirt, not worrying about my chest protruding. But really it's just the confidence in being able to walk up tall and to kind of exceed my expectations for sure, how much more confident I am now. I could take my shirt off and feel comfortable just being at the lake, being at the river, being at the pool. I could never take my shirt off before. And this was the first time that I ever got to just experience what it's like just to be a normal man and go to a lake, go to a river, go to a pool, be around people. It was really fun. I got to do things like cliff jump. That was really fun. Get to stand on top of a cliff shirtless and not feel insecure and scared. Sitting on boats, hanging out on the sides of the pool without a shirt on. I mean, there's so many things that I missed out on that I never got to do that I got to do. And I'm really glad. I've never gotten to do it. It's so simple, but it's so free. I never thought I would tell anybody. After I got the surgery, I thought I would just keep it under wraps and act like I never got surgery and that my chest has always looked like this, but it didn't feel right for me to hide such a vital part of my life. And it felt like I was living a lie to not tell people how I felt about it and not express it to the people around me. Anything like that, it's very uncomfortable to talk about, but still a big part of my life. So to not talk about it feels like a disloyalty to my entire previous childhood that I had to sacrifice.
I'm Brandon's mom. Brandon told me about his gynecomastia when he was 22 years old. I kind of known that something was going on when he was growing up, but I didn't really know. I just thought my son was shy and he was a little overweight. I used to find wads of tape in his drawer, and I could never figure out why I kept finding wads of tape. And then I thought, oh, he's a little bit chubby, so he's taping down his breasts because he doesn't want nobody to know. And I never confronted him with it because I didn't want to embarrass him. So I just shut up and I never said anything. But my son never would go in the pool, would never go to the lake, would never go out with his friends. And now I get it. I always thought he was shy. But it's not that he was shy, but he was ashamed. And when he finally did tell me about it, everything came together. And I totally understood so many things that he had done when he was young. My advice to you is to just, if your child starts acting differently, ask them questions. You know, I never asked questions because I didn't want to embarrass my son, but ask. You need to ask because you could possibly help your child a lot sooner than what I was able to help my child.
People took it way differently than I thought they would take it. They completely accepted me. They didn't judge me. They didn't make me feel ashamed of it. They just wanted to help me. I had my parents helping me try to find places to get the surgery done. I had my sisters even talking to me about not being unaccepting of it or not thinking anything differently of me. I was just always reassured that love, never shame, never made me feel uncomfortable about it. I would tell myself, tell anybody around you, don't be ashamed of it because it just furthers the grief, furthers the pain that you have to go through, and you suffer it alone when you don't tell anybody about it. People didn't judge me for it. They didn't assume less of me for it. They saw how much I had gone through with it and wanted to help me with it. It wasn't, they didn't make me feel shameful of it at all. At Dr. Cruz's office makes you feel very comfortable. They've answered every one of our questions the first meet. And we scheduled our surgery the first meet because of everybody there. Their guidance, their expertise was unmatched, and I wouldn't recommend anybody else.